Welcome to defensive corner kicks. So I'm going to break this down for you and I'm going to show you how we want to try and defend when it comes to corner kicks. Okay, so let's see it. We're the blue team versus the red team. The red team gets the ball wide to their winger. They're going to win a corner kick. So we need to set up immediately. Now when we first set up, the ideal positions are a Y shape. Right here. Okay, so you can see we have one blocking the end line so they can't play it straight in. Right, so it's almost on the end line, really close, so they can't, again, play it straight through. We have somebody near the top of the D, or the circle, right, the goalkeeper circle. And then you have two behind. Now, this is going to be more ideal for the older group of players. The younger ones are probably going to set up with 2, 1, and then one over here to help support. Okay, so you'll see this in a second. So we get up here, right, to try and in case they play a ball out, but they're running their short corner, so that means we need to get these players out to defend. Okay, so when the ball goes short, we need somebody to cover the person at the second post. So we need to be aware of where he is. The ball comes in. Okay, so in this scenario, I give the opponent the shot. We need to try and block every single corner, free kick, cross, anything. Right, you need to try and block them all because any shot in this game obviously can lead to a high opportunity to score because it's small-sided. It's very small. You'll try and block everything, right? So I'll show you an example of that. Get the ball in, okay? Now we'll reset again. So now here's another scenario. This is an option to defend. This is more in line with the younger players, right? But the option's still the same. We do this because it's easy to defend man for man. So if they line up like this, we just line up with 3. As long as we're marked up, we should be okay. Right, so those two will go where they're supposed to. One player in this scenario, the pivot, comes out to help set up for the defensive scenario. Which means we should be able to try and get blocks or intercept passes. But obviously we set up like this. Let me bring you back to that frame real quick. So if we set up like that, it does leave our box, the middle of the box, wide open. Let me bring you back right here. Okay, so you can see it. If the 11 decides to play in or the 7 makes a movement, they have a 1v1 and there's nobody covering this area except the goalie maybe, so it just depends on how they move. So it's a little bit riskier, but for younger players, it's easier to defend with if we go man for man like this. Okay, so as we play, we'll give you instructions on how we want you to set up in terms of the defensive areas. But these are just some ideas for you to have. Okay, next one, here's another scenario. If they line up in the same way, right, and they match with the 3 players, we got to go man for man. If they line up like this, but understand that they're going to change positions. So you have to be really adept and aware of where they're moving to. Right? And try not to get picked or blocked. So that way you can stay with your guy and get the block in. Okay? And so those are things that you're going to have to be mindful of is man-for-man marking. Especially in corners. Really hard to play zone. Now here's another option for you. This is one that we'll see a lot of teams probably do. They'll set up like this. Especially in the older age groups. They'll play 1. Recycle to the middle, and be able to swing it back out the opposite way, and then try and get this player on the post. So if you don't get out and block, it's a free shot or cross towards goal. Okay, but let me bring you back through the Y scenario. So you can see our ball goes out for a corner, or it will in a second. They get their corner kick, and we need to be ready to go, starting that Y shape. So you can see here we're trying to get there immediately. 2 players in front, 1 blocking the end line, 1 in the middle towards the center of that circle, and then we have our little Y shape, okay, where it was a second ago back here, being able to cover that player, and then these 2 got to step out to block, right, if they go short like this, like we run, and it just depends on how they set up. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let me run it at full speed so you can see it from this scenario. Too much. Here we go. Let's watch. So full speed, or game-like speed. Ball goes out of bounds. We set up immediately. We're ready to go. Yep, ball comes in. Get ready to block. Because you're going to see they're going to try and get somebody on that second post every time. Because there's no offside. So we need to be ready to try and get blocks in. Like so. And get the ball out. And we just recover our defensive positions when the ball is turned over. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. See you in the next video.